Thank you. So habits. I figure it's
Habits.
more light-hearted than talking about politics or world wars for a change.
Correct.
A little bit more
Yes.
personal. So I'm on day two of carnivore-ish. Carnivore-ish. So I say carnivore-ish because I am gonna try and stick to it. But I have family visiting. We're having a South African braai next week, and my mom's making milk tart. So there's gonna be some cheating here and there. But day two so far. Yesterday I had a packet of bacon for breakfast, which was quite fun.
Yeah.
Today, so I wasn't sure if I was going to do eggs and dairy and all the rest of it, but this morning I did decide to have eggs for breakfast, and I
Okay.
had a steak for dinner last night, just a steak, a really nice rump steak. And then so I have huge sweet cravings after I eat supper. And so I had just 2 scoops of Greek yogurt afterwards. I wasn't sure if that was allowed or not, but it's what I felt
Mm.
like, and that helped. And then
Yeah.
in terms of drinking, I'm just drinking 1 cup of black coffee a day. I do 1 or 2 flavored teas, so ginger tea or something like that. And I've got a electrolyte sachet, so I've been doing. If I exercise, I have one of those. Obviously, I'm only on day two, so I can't really say what I'm doing long term, but that's my plan.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I just finally bit the bullet because I kept putting it off and saying, well, because I had a friend here, I couldn't do it then. And then my parents are coming next
Yeah.
week, I can't do it then. Then I'm going to Madrid after that, I can't do it then. And so I was trying to plan when I'm going to start, and it would be December, which then you've got Christmas as an excuse. So it was just never happening. So I
Yes.
just said, okay, I'm going to start Monday and just try my best, but also give myself freedom to cheat every now and again if I feel like I need to.
Yeah. So I think that even using the word cheat
Yeah.
is incorrect. Um, so I think what's quite important on this journey, and that was kind of my experience with this, is that just try and stay um, as close as possible for at least the first 2 weeks to
Mm-hmm.
give yourself a chance to kind of go through what they call the keto flu, to kind of stabilize things and so on, and get to that point where you get that kick, that boost of energy.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you feel like what it really feels like to feel good,
Yeah.
then it becomes a hell of a lot easier to say no to some of the things that you're going to obviously encounter. And at this point in time, looks to you like, wow, this is potentially going to derail my efforts or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Because honestly, once you kind of get to that point, um, where you know what really feeling good feels like, and what your entire body just kind of operates differently, um, then it becomes a hell of a lot easier.
Yeah.
So just back to the point I wanted to make about not saying that I cheat, because when you say I cheat, I mean, there's no rule that says you cannot ever have a whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. So I, from time to time, eat an ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because that is, for me, is like, one of the nicest things in the world.
Yeah. Same.
So I have
Yeah.
now, well, I can share a recipe for you, with you, uh, to
Has
make
it
your
got
own,
cottage
make,
cheese or cream cheese or
yes, yes,
something in
yes, yes,
it?
cottage cheese. It is actually freaking amazing. Okay. But anyway, so things like blueberries. So for that sweet craving to kind of get rid, because the sugar addiction is very, very real,
Yeah.
and you can be way too harsh on yourself. So I think, like with any other habit, you know, when it's a question, let's say, for example, I decided I'm going to do 50 push-ups a day.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I do it for the first 3 days, and then the fourth day I only managed to do 40, you know. Am I going to be hard on myself because I didn't reach, or I didn't do what I said I was going to do? So, you know, I can be very upset about it, but I can also accept that, you know what, I just, I don't know, I was tired. Maybe there were other activities or whatever the case may be. And in your case, you know, like, I'm going to have a family get together. Listen,
Mm-hmm.
having a braai is
Easy for carnivore.
the most fantastic. It's one of the most fantastic things to
Yeah.
attend. You know, um, especially if you've had 10 days or so to kind of adapt and get used to the amount of meat that you should eat.
Yeah.
Not can eat, but should eat. Okay. Because
Yeah.
that's really important. Is to not measure the size or the weight of the food that you consume in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Is um, but yeah, don't look at it as I'm going to cheat, because that'll make you feel shit.
Yeah.
And it's not. I mean, there are no rules about this.
Yeah.
Once you start understanding what effect that so-called cheat has on your body, you can then make a decision: do I want to do that, or do I not want to do
Yeah.
that? So, like,
Yes.
how are you going to navigate that? I think is more important to decide that for yourself
Yeah.
than to, oh, that's going to be terrible if I do something like that.
Yeah. So I think I'm also just thinking about the moments where I will feel like I do want something else. Because, for example, it's difficult living with someone who's not carnivore when you're making food together. So last night I made dinner, I made steaks, but I also made Yorkshire puddings, vegetables, gravy, and I didn't have any
Yes.
of that. I had to put all of that on one plate, and I had my single steak on my plate, which it wasn't too difficult because I'm okay without the veggies, and Yorkshire puddings are not my favorite. But it's still just that
Yeah.
idea of like I'm making all this extra food and I'm only having this one little thing. But that wasn't a big challenge for me last night. But I do think it'll be a challenge where I'm cooking with my mom, we're preparing things together, we want to try something different. And so I'm allowing myself those moments. But I think the biggest thing about me going carnivore, which maybe it's not really carnivore, it's cutting out bread, which I eat a lot of. It's cutting out potatoes, which I eat a lot of, and it's cutting out
Mm.
sugar and snacking. I mean, again, sugar, i
Yeah.
don't i don't have sugar in my coffee. I don't have sugar in like my everyday things, but I snack a lot, so I have a lot of like sweets or chocolates or chips and those kinds of things, which I'm trying to just get rid of from my
I,
usual
yeah.
everyday diet.
I think one of the mistakes most people make is thinking, or not realizing how much sugar they consume,
Yeah.
other than sugar that you put in tea or coffee, or things like Coke, that
Yes.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
There's a shit ton of sugar in that. I agree, but people think because I avoid those things, I don't consume that much sugar.
Mm-hmm.
However, take any bottle of store-bought sauce in your fridge or
Yeah.
cupboard and look at the ingredients, and you'll find that it's laden with sugar. Um, even things like a lot of your vegetables, they supposedly natural sugars, and therefore they are good for you. It's sugar, kind of
Yeah.
the same process that it follows, and so on. So any sauces, any basically any condiments and so on, go check. There was an interesting one that I saw the other day. I'm trying to remember what it was, but it is something which is not supposed to have any sugar. It's supposed to not contain any sugar, but it had regular sugar and two artificial sweeteners.
Yeah.
kind of if you read the label.
I wonder if it's
So
like the electrolyte waters, because I noticed that one of the ones that one of the sachets I had stevia in it, and I thought,
you
isn't it meant
can
to not
you
have?
well you can get the electrolytes without the stevia.
Yeah.
So the stevia itself is not really that bad for you. If you there's an interesting sweetener that there's quite a lot of literature about at the moment. Allulose.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you've come across allulose. It's also known as monk fruit. Uh, but allulose is supposedly the good sweetener or the good sugar.
Okay.
So it's something that you can experiment a little bit with. I think for most people, when they first start on the journey, it is overcoming the sugar addiction. And we also have these. We started talking about habits. Is a lot of these things are habits within habits.
Yeah.
Okay, it's like smokers having a cigarette after dinner.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that is a
Yeah.
habit. It's like me having a cup of coffee when I wake up in the morning. That is a habit. So I think you mentioned, after dinner, you generally feel like something sweet. That
Yeah.
is a habit within a habit. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's
It's
kind of,
almost
and that
immediately,
is
as
what,
soon as I finish
yes,
something savory, I need something sweet afterwards.
100%,
Yeah.
100%. So a lot of people kind of go this very, very strict kind of carnivore route to get rid or to try and break kind of like those habits.
Yeah.
Obviously, give your body some time to adapt and recover from all the negative things that is due to the sugar and the seed oils and the this,
Mm.
that, and the other. And then some of them will, over time, start reintroducing certain foods when they know it's not going to derail them completely.
Yeah.
And I feel that that's where I am, and some other people that I know that follow the same eating is like that. I have absolutely no problem eating an ice cream once every 2 weeks or
Mm-hmm.
once a month or whatever the frequency is, or having one beer when I'm out for dinner with people. Um, I made the mistake the other day of having two beers with dinner.
And you knew better.
And I could actually feel it the next day.
Mm. Yeah.
Um, and anyway, so as long as you're kind of at that point where you can make this distinction and this awareness, it'll help you.
Yeah. So
What
how
are
long
you?
have you been on the carnivore diet now? Just
Uh, exactly 10 months and 5 days.
okay. You have a little calendar there showing me.
No, no, it's just that the date is obviously in my mind. This is when I
Yeah.
started this experiment, and it is now 10 months and 5 days. Let
Okay.
me tell you something. Let me tell you something interesting. I've literally just now come back from the optometrist for my annual checkup,
Yeah.
and my vision improved significantly.
Oh my goodness.
So I had come across other people that have been carnivore that have kind of said the same thing. I
Yeah.
didn't think it was going to be applicable to me. But for the last month or so, I kind of noticed that, especially things like watching TV, driving, that sort of thing, it looks a little bit funny. And in fact, for the last 2 weeks or so, I've been watching TV and then taking my glasses off because that's much more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And driving, I actually park my glasses up here now when I drive because I see anyway. So eye test confirms that my vision has improved
Wow.
considerably. Now, obviously, I like to think that, yeah, this is the reason for it. Um, so anyway, the point is that there are, I don't know, so many benefits that different people have experienced.
Yeah.
Um, I haven't had any negative experience, but I think it's something that everybody must kind of experiment with
Yeah.
for themselves.
Well, I know I said I'm only on day two. I already made a mistake yesterday on day one. Because I have a thick tub of chewing gum in my car. And on the way to the gym, I just took a chewing gum and then I put it in my mouth and I thought, oh, hang on, this has got sugar in it. It's sugar free, but I
Is
still
it
thought
sugar
like,
free?
yeah, but I still thought, oh, it's probably not good too.
No,
Okay. It
right
is
here on
sugar
my
free.
desk.
Okay. So I
So,
did
so
wonder, I was on my way to the gym and I'm busy chewing it and I'm thinking, did I just mess up on my first
no,
day of carnivore?
no. So again, the reason I think most people say, "Oh, stay away from the
Yeah.
sugar-free gum," because it will actually kind of you make that association with I need something sweet,
Yeah.
etc. I tell you, if that takes away your sweet craving after dinner, chew
Yeah.
the damn thing.
Yeah. It's better
You know,
than
instead
having
of
a
instead of
slab of
eating
chocolate.
correct,
Yeah.
whatever the case may be. So there are obviously certain sweeteners that yeah, I don't know. It depends on what it is that you want to get out of this thing. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you'll get comfortable with it as you progress,
Yeah.
in my opinion, in terms of which type of meat you prefer, which so when I started as well, I ate a shit ton of bacon.
Yeah.
I I had bacon the other day because I was in a restaurant for breakfast. But I haven't cooked bacon for myself in probably 8 months
Okay.
because steak is fantastic for breakfast. It's
Yeah.
fantastic for lunch and it's fantastic for dinner. So kind of like that's my go-to thing is beef. I know some people. I eat lamb.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I eat pork. I eat very little pork. I don't touch chicken anymore. Um, so anyway, then and that's very personal. I think you'll find
Yeah.
that and you'll navigate around that. Like with any habit, it is a question of understanding why you want to change that habit.
Yeah.
Um, and then, like I said, don't be too hard on yourself.
Yeah.
It's easy for us to get so disappointed in terms of, what I failed and, oh, there goes whatever, and then
Yeah.
abandoning the experiment. And I keep calling it an experiment, because I'm very curious about, what it does, how it kind of manifests in terms of, you know, all sorts of things around my health and so
Mm-hmm.
on. And
Mm-hmm.
if I feel like I don't get benefits, then I'll abandon the experiment.
Yeah.
And I think that is a sensible way to treat it. And in
Yeah.
the same way, if I chose to go and run every day, I would continue running until I figure that it's not good for my knees or for my ankles or for my whatever and so on.
Yeah.
And I don't think one must um, be too hard on yourself.
Yeah. So I'm habit stacking all at the same time. I'm also back to my reading a chapter a day, reading
Okay.
my daily Stoic, journaling, and 5 kilometers a day. So I'm back to that. um,
Okay.
I don't know that I'll get the 5 kilometers every day, but that's the goal. That's the aim. And
Okay.
I can balance it out. So if I do 10 kilometers, then I can do fewer the next day or
Mm.
but yeah, I'm kind of doing everything all at once, which I don't know if it's a good idea or bad idea, but I've got a blood test coming up, so I'm hoping that my my bloods will be a little bit better than they were last time. But yeah.
It's a good checkpoint. Whatever they are now, that's what they are.
Hmm.
I mean, that's it. And then kind of look at the next batch that you're going to do. Look, I think, like you said, you're stacking quite a bit here, but at least with the reading and the journaling, you've gone through that from where it was very daunting to actually, you know what, it just takes a little bit of self-discipline,
Yeah.
and then it's quite easy to do
Put the
that.
phone down.
Yeah, yeah. So, which I must admit, putting the phone down is a little bit difficult at the moment. It seems like if you don't look for half an hour, there might be some
Someone gets
major
shot.
event. Someone gets shot, someone resigns,
Yeah.
someone, yes. So there's a lot to look out for, but yeah, I understand it is like you know pure habit to just kind of sit and scroll.
Yeah.
But
I
I think
also, yeah.
go for it.
No, I was going to say, I also doom scroll in another way with just putting the news on in the background and I just watch the news and it's the same broadcast over and over again and I just keep watching. I
Oh,
just can't. So I actually
really?
almost missed Joe Biden's resignation because it was Sports Day, was the newscast that was on. And I don't like watching Sports Day. So I thought, oh, I'll wait till the next broadcast to put it on. And then it was, I think, 15 minutes left. So I thought, let me just put it on and leave it running. And then I saw that
Yeah,
Joe Biden had resigned. But yeah,
yeah,
I tend to, when I'm sitting in front of the TV, if I don't have a lot of time, like if I'm cooking or something, then I'll put the news on and I'll come in and out and watch what's going on.
wow, that is so depressing. Well,
I just
I'll
like
find it
to
very
I like to
depressing.
know what's going on and to have conversation with people who know what's going on.
Yeah. Look, in terms of the news, I've got a pretty different view on that. Is I I obviously try to be aware of what's going on, um, but very specific sources, and then I'm
Yeah.
kind of like very disciplined in the times of the day when I'll catch up.
Hmm.
It's not just once a day. I know that there are people that say that's not good. You should, I don't know, maybe just do it once a day or whatever the case may be. But I don't find that intrusive. What I really enjoy is rather while I'm cooking or busy with something else is to rather listen to music.
Hmm.
Um, I've been enjoying that a hell of a lot lately, and also just asking Siri to play music
Yeah.
and not necessarily pick what I'm going to listen to.
Yeah.
Um, and that way, I kind of discovered some bands that I weren't familiar with and that I
Yeah.
really like, and then I dig in there and I kind of go and get a few albums and listen to that and feel
Yeah.
like, okay, broaden my horizons a little bit there. But yeah, I find that a slightly better use of my time than
Yeah.
listening to the news on repeat while I'm busy in the kitchen.
I do like on Apple Music the it'll have Herman Creel's radio station and
Correct.
there it just
Yeah,
plays songs similar to what you've got in your
100%.
library.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's quite cool. I've also had a few come up that I'd never heard of the band before, but it was definitely aligned with the type of music that I listen to.
yeah,
So I tend to
yeah, yeah.
listen to music when I'm driving, and I've been driving a lot. Um, but then when I drove to Wales for work last week, I thought, oh, this is a perfect amount of time to put a podcast on, or so I found a podcast that I liked and I put that on. I listened to Gad Sad on whose podcast was he on? I forget. can't remember, but
Yeah,
it was a really good episode. Yeah, I really
yeah, he
enjoy him.
was. Yes, yes, yes. I'm also trying to remember now whose podcast he was on recently.
Oh, it was Joe Rogan. It
Anyway,
was Joe Rogan,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that's
yeah.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
right, yeah.
yeah. So
Yes.
that was quite a fun one. And then last week when I was walking, I listened to, or on the weekend when I was walking, I listened to Ben Shapiro and Douglas Murray, and I'll just randomly pick if there's a name that I like and I see there's a recent podcast
Yeah.
with them, then I'll have a listen. So
Okay. So, what do you think is going to be, out of all these habits that you're now stacking, what do you think is going to be your biggest challenge over
um
the next 2 weeks?
Uh, Probably the one I feel like I struggle with the most recently is the reading. I'm reading another Ayn Rand at the moment. I've actually got 4 books going, and that's probably not helping me because I have
Yeah.
Jordan Peterson, 12 Rules for Life. I have Ayn Rand, and I have what are the other two? I've got 4 books next to my bed, and some of them I put
Mm,
aside because I wasn't getting through them. So at the moment, I'm reading Fountainhead, and the chapters are long. So
yeah.
my habit at the moment is it used to be first thing when I wake up in the morning, but I've had a lot of early morning meetings, so I've been doing it before I go to sleep at night. And I just get so tired reading the chapter that I struggle to get to the
Okay.
end. So that's probably my toughest one that I foresee. I'm really excited about Carnivore, so I don't see that being difficult, at least for the next week or two, um, except when my mom's here.
Yeah.
She's so funny because she'll comment on like have you put on weight or something like that, but then if I say no thank you to a rusk, she'll say are you on a diet? so, so it's always a bit of a balancing act.
Correct. It's how mothers are, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm very motivated for the exercise and the carnivore because I have put on weight noticeably and I'm not feeling very healthy. So I think that those two I'm committed to and I'm
Okay.
feeling excited about because I feel like I will feel better. One of the things where I notice it the most is I've been doing this 5Ks on the treadmill fairly regularly, and when I am carrying more weight, and I know I am, it's so much harder and I can feel it's
Mm,
so much more difficult to run the 5Ks, and I get out of
sure.
breath very quickly and I start sweating very early, and I just know when I've dropped a little bit of weight I feel more comfortable on the treadmill and it's a nice feeling and I want to go further. So
Yeah.
those are the motivations at the moment. Have a comfortable five
Okay.
kilometers.
Yeah, I think if the motivation is feel good,
Yeah,
you know, feel good, feel sharp, have energy.
yeah,
If you kind of make that your primary motivation, and the rest of these things will be secondary, and they'll happen a lot quicker than you think. Or certainly that's been
yeah,
my experience with it. Is you, it is the most difficult thing to describe to somebody what it feels like to have proper energy.
yeah,
How everybody should feel. Um, and once you get to experience that, I think it'll fall into place a little bit easier for you. So just back onto that reading, because you said, okay, cool. This may be a little bit of a challenge because it
yeah,
used to be early in the mornings, but now I have other commitments and then I have to you kind of book in the day.
yeah.
Isn't there another possibility to slot it in somewhere else in the day?
Yeah, so I think I need to figure out my routine because I found it the easiest when I did it first thing in the morning.
Yeah,
So maybe I do just need to wake up half an hour earlier and do it then. Um, that's probably the best way to do it because it was like wake up, put my specs on, and start reading
read.
one
Okay.
chapter, then get out of bed, then go make a coffee or tea or whatever. So I actually have tea. I'm in a routine. I have nettle tea first thing in the morning, coffee as my second thing, and then I'll maybe have another tea or not a coffee, another a different flavor tea later in the afternoon, and maybe a chamomile before bed. So that's kind of my drinking routine. But then the journaling as well, I used to do it first thing in the morning, just after reading or just before reading a chapter. And that
Yeah.
would only take 5 minutes. But I am finding actually doing that at the end of the day is better because it gives you a view of your day and you can prepare for the next day. So I think I just need to adjust what I do when. The exercise one, if I have time in the morning with work, I'll go for a 5K in the morning. But lately it's been after work, so 5 o'clock. And then
Mm.
I come home and I make dinner straight away. So I mean, I'm quite flexible with that and I like having that flexibility. So I think it's just the reading. I need to wake up earlier, which means going to bed earlier, which
A
means
little bit
not
earlier,
not doom watching the news for hours.
yeah.
So I yeah,
Yeah.
I think I know what I need to do. Just have to adjust
Okay.
things. Yeah.
Well, again, I think if we look at the word choice, you use the weasel word need quite a bit there. And I think if you change that to what I want to do,
Mm-hmm.
what I want to change my routine as, you know,
Yeah.
then give yourself, I don't know, a time frame. Don't just say, I'm going to change my routine, and it sounds like it's indefinitely, forever and ever and ever. But say
Yeah.
for the next, I don't know, week or for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to um, not try, because try is also another weasel word. For the
Spoke
next
about those
week or the
so long
next,
ago.
yeah, the next 2 weeks, I'm going to make sure that I'm in bed by whatever time,
Yeah.
because that'll give me enough sleep to get up at whatever time, because these are the things that I'm going to accomplish. And try it for a week or 2 weeks
Yeah.
and see how you feel about it. And then adjust it. It's your schedule, it's your life, it's your priorities that you have to kind of move around, not somebody else's, until you
Yeah.
find that sweet spot that works for you.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's a more positive way of looking at it, rather than setting, we we tend to set ourselves up for failure with some of these habits that we want to, based on somebody else's
Yeah.
um, experiences or suggestions, rather than kind of completely making it our own.
Yeah. So it was a bit of a refresher having my friend staying here a week or two ago. She read Atomic Habits while she was here. And so
Okay.
she was very committed to reading and she wants to, because she was so impressed with herself that in 2 weeks she finished that book. She finished it while she was
Mm-hmm.
here. So she set herself the habit of reading 5 pages a day. So it's different to I'm trying to read a chapter a day. She was just 5 pages a day because she knows she can commit to it. That's exactly how I started. You just commit to what you can do and you do it
Yeah.
consistently. And if you skip a day, you just get back to it the next day. Don't skip 2 days. That's the
Yes.
James Clear way, is make sure you don't skip two. Um,
Correct.
so so I think I'll do the same thing with my carnivore. If I eat milk tart next week Saturday, I will eat clean the next day, or just make sure that I get back into the habit of eating the way I'm supposed to. Well, that I want to.
Yeah, and it's also, if you eat milk tart, eat a portion, and you're not going to eat, you know,
The whole
a whole
thing.
milk tart. Yeah. Which,
I'll
by the way,
share.
would be fantastic.
I will share with the
But
other people here.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and then it's okay, cool. I've done that now. I knew I was going to do it. It's not a failure.
Hmm.
But I didn't capitulate, and then, after that, ran to the supermarket and
Yeah.
bought the cookies and the chocolates and all of those things and
Yeah.
so on. But good luck with that.
Thanks.
It's I hope it's a positive journey for you, as it has been for me and for a number of people that I know personally, and also a huge community out there,
Yeah.
which I think is also good to tap into. much
Yeah.
as possible in terms of, whatever stage or phase or whatever you find yourself in, and whatever individual challenges you kind of run into, if any.
Yeah, well, I'll definitely be checking in with you with your 10 months experience. 10 months and
Yeah,
5 days. Um, but yeah, I'm excited about it, and I kind of wish I had done it sooner and stopped with all the excuses, because I've been talking with you about wanting to try it for I don't know how long. Um,
it's never convenient.
it's no, it's never going to
It's
be the
never
right time.
convenient. Yeah.
So yeah, I bought a deep
Okay.
freeze as well, so I can start stocking it and
Okay.
put meat into it so that I can't say I've
Yes.
run out of meat.
Okay. Excellent.
Yeah,
Excellent. I
cool.
look forward to hear about how it's going in the next couple of weeks.
Can we just for 1 minute just check in on
Yes.
your habit, the smoking? How's that been?
Well, I haven't touched a cigarette yet,
In how
so
long? How long?
completely over it. Well, that's also now 8 months about.
So it was just
Uh,
after you had started carnivore that was.
yeah, that was about 2 months after I started Carnivore. So it was 12th of November. It's the exact date.
Hmm. You got lots
Anyway,
of dates in
so
your mind.
mm, yeah, because again, remember that was a decision that I made about 2 or 3 months before,
Yeah,
that was going to be the date that I give up smoking.
yeah.
So it has been the one thing which I must say, more than any food that I miss smoking.
Hmm.
Like I can really see myself just going sitting outside with a cup of coffee and a cigarette.
Hmm.
It's not that I think about it constantly. Thanks for reminding me and making me feel like smoking. But no, it's really been it's been fine. It's been great. I haven't seen any personal health benefits from that. I did go for a lung function test not too long ago, about 3 months ago, um, and I did very well with my lung function test. So it's not like I had some health issues that concerned me there.
Yeah.
Um, and But am I glad I kicked the habit? Because that's all it is. Yes, I'm very glad I kicked
And
the habit.
are you saving a fortune?
Yeah, you
Because
know what?
cigarettes are not cheap.
No, cigarettes are not cheap. Look, it definitely contributes. I'm saving a hell of a lot. I'm saving the biggest savings on my life insurance policy.
Of course.
Makes a
Yeah.
massive difference.
Yeah.
But I'm not saving as much quitting smoking as I'm saving on not eating vegetables.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a hell of a lot more expensive. All this other food that you stuff in your mouth that doesn't
You don't need.
really contribute to your well-being at all.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I'm being serious. It's actually quite astonishing. See how much less you spend on food. Um, so yeah, but anyway, I'm very happy with the decision, and I'm glad I'm over that. Um, as I say, it is one thing that kind of every now and then comes up, and I suppose like anything, I mean, it's
You
not
still
like
get a craving.
I don't get the craving, so it just sounds like it's nice, but in the same way that a pizza sounds nice every now and then. I fortunately know what it feels like to have eaten pizza
Mm-hmm.
and what it feels like tomorrow morning after not
Yeah.
having pizza for a couple of months. So it's kind of like similar to that. But no, I'm very happy. My my health is really good. I'm actually going for my regular bloods later this week, and then my doctor's appointment next week.
Okay.
So, so I'm really looking forward to that. I want to see what those
Yeah.
numbers are.
It's
So
interesting
anyway,
that you would look
yeah,
forward to a doctor's appointment.
yeah,
It just shows that
yeah,
you
yeah,
feel like what you're doing is very positive and good for your health. And yeah,
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Well, I am looking forward to
Excellent.
this journey, this experiment, and we'll keep you updated and we'll ask you lots of questions along the way.
Fantastic, fantastic.
Cool.
I wish you well. I hope you get all the results that you hope for.
Thanks, Herman.